Hello everyone! Welcome to a very special video. I'm DTM as always, and the newest update for June 2022 has arrived for FEH. And yeah, there's a lot to cover, so let's get into it. But before we do, again, be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that jazz to help support the channel. We're so close to 1,000 subscribers. Only takes 5 seconds to subscribe, but it truly does help out this channel a lot, and I really do appreciate all the constant support. But yeah, the first thing of note in this update are the new refines, and oh boy, this is quite a lovely batch that we have. Let's start with Naesala. So Naesala originally had a Raven King beak, and the new effect is basically granting speed +3 if unit initiates combat or foe's HP is greater than or equal to 75% at the start of combat, grants attack speed +5 to unit during combat, and deals damage equals to 15% of the unit's speed, and then the beast transformation effect. And so the things that were added from the previous base effect was the attack speed +5 here, and the fact that the unit's true damage based off of speed is no longer capped. If we look at the original weapon, originally it was just 70% of the difference between the unit's speed and the foe's speed, with a maximum of +7. Well, there's no more maximum, and now this is solely based off of his speed, so that is obviously a lot more consistent and a lot more powerful considering that there's no cap. But obviously it doesn't stop there. His refine effect is if he is transformed, or if the foe HP is greater than or equal to 75% at the start of combat, grants attack speed +5 to unit during combat, and the following effects will occur based on the value of unit speed minus foe speed. So it appears that that unit speed minus foe speed is now moved from the base effect to this new effect, and if it is greater than or equal to 1, you get special cooldown charge +1 to unit per unit's attack. And then if greater than or equal to 6, neutralizes effect that prevents unit's follow-up attack. So he essentially gets like Flashing Blade in his weapon and half of NFU. And obviously this is extremely strong, considering that one of the primary roles for him is to be used as a Gale Force unit. And obviously all of this just immensely helps with that. The only downside is that he does not have slaying, so unless you run like, I don't know, Velouria, which we'll get to in a second, you probably would want to run Quicken Pulse in order to make that Gale Force more consistent. But after two attacks with that Quicken Pulse, yeah, you can get that Gale Force procced. It's very easy with this special cooldown charge +1. So yeah, overall, Naesala is a very good Gale Force unit now, and like he was already, honestly, a pretty good Gale Force unit in my personal opinion, but this just makes him even better. It's so much more consistent now, and yeah, Naesala fans should be really happy about this. Moving on to perhaps not as amazing refine, but honestly I still think it's pretty solid. We have Fallen Berkut, who had a Kremhild. The base effect is now if foe initiates combat and unit is within 3 spaces of an ally, unit can counterattack regardless of foe's range, and foe cannot make a follow-up attack, but after combat, if unit attack deals 20 damage to nearest ally. So unfortunately, the dealing 20 damage to the nearest ally is still there, and obviously it retains the foe cannot make a follow-up attack effect from the original base effect. What's new about the base effect is that the condition has changed. Previously, he only got he only got the counterattack if he was within 2 spaces of an ally. It's a bit worded differently here. It says that if bow, dagger, magic, or staff foe initiates combat, but I'm pretty sure that's like all of the ranged weapon types, so in effect it's basically remained the same. But obviously within 2 spaces of an ally is a bit more strict than the 3 spaces of an ally that Berkut has. And yeah, it's just a little bit worded differently, but basically the only thing that changed is the increase from 2 to 3. And the refine effect is that if foe initiates combat or if foe's HP is greater than or equal to 75% at the start of combat, inflicts attack defense -5 on foe during combat, and unit makes a guaranteed follow-up attack. And so obviously this is an additional stat swing in a way. Definitely helps his bulk with the infliction of attack and helps the combat with minus defense. And you also now make a guaranteed follow-up attack as well, so this is sort of like an Omnibreaker effect, similar to what I think Dusel had. So yeah, overall, I'd say he's got a pretty solid refine. It's definitely not as good as Naesala's or like anything that out of that amazing, but it's still solid. The downside though is that this still basically makes him into a tank cavalry unit, which unfortunately is not that good of a role and definitely really struggles. Like, there's not really much of a place for a cavalry tank, since like one of the biggest advantage of cavalry units is their range, but with tanks you can't really take advantage of that, and thus you can't really take advantage of that range while still having lower stats compared to, say, armor units or infantry units. And of course, also limited skill availability as well. So, honestly, overall pretty solid refine, but nothing really special at all. And I don't think this will really make him quote-unquote optimal by any means. But let's move on to my personal favorite refine, Velouria. So Velouria has base effect is now grants speed +3 at the start of turn 1, grants special cooldown count -2 to unit and unit support partner, if any. If unit initiates combat or is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants attack speed +5 to unit during combat. So everything besides the final sentence is basically the same as the base effect. Yeah, base effect is basically right here. And as you can see, the only addition to that is the attack speed +5. And then we, of course, have the transformation effect. It's notable that this is now updated with the tempo effect, which, for Velouria, being used on Galeforce units, is actually really strong and very powerful, and will make her be able to do follow-up Galeforce a lot more consistently. In addition, her refine now has, at start of turn, if unit is within 3 spaces of support partner, grants attack speed +6, and neutralizes foes' bonuses during combat to unit and any support partner within 3 spaces of unit for 1 turn. In addition, if unit is transformed, or foe's HP is greater than or equal to 75% at the start of combat, grants attack speed +5 to unit during combat. So, yeah, this is just offering additional support. You have like the dull all effect, I guess you can call it, similar to what Valentine's Lucina has, or like skills like distant defense has. Neutralizing foes bonuses is definitely a very good cherry on top. I don't think this changes too much since you don't... I mean, I guess you can run into visible buffs on Aetherite's defense, especially if you have like a Catria Ball with like a lot of Hone or Ward armors, or Goad armors and things like that. So in a sense, this could be very helpful just to help win that stat checks. And overall, it's still a very good weapon. Like, Velouria was already like S tier before her refine, and this just makes it even better. I do think Naesala has a better upgrade, but I personally like Velouria all-encompassing holistically a lot more. Especially since like this special cooldown count -2 is still super unique to her and just enables so many units to be able to use on Galeforce. So overall, a pretty good refine on Velouria. There was not much, honestly, to that she needed. Tempo plus this extra support is really all she needed, and she is still super strong and a super amazing unit. So yeah, on to the next refine. We have Flora, Picnic Flora. I have no idea how to pronounce this weapon, but the base effect is still effective against beast foes, grants attack +3 at the start of combat if unit's res is greater than foe's res, reduces foe's attack speed defense by 80% of difference between stats during combat, max 8. At the start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 25%, grants all stats +4 to unit during combat. Okay, so compared to her original weapon, The cap is still the same at -8, but it's a lot easier to reach that cap because now it is 80% of the difference, not 50%. So that is obviously a lot easier now to get, because now you only need to out-res your opponent by 10 instead of, say, 16, which is definitely a lot. And also, she gets the attack speed defense res +4 in her base effect. So just giving her more stats, and obviously that helps with meeting this res check. The refine effect is if unit is within 3 spaces of an ally, grants attack speed defense res +4 to unit during combat, and the following effects will occur based on the value of unit's res minus the foe's res. If greater than or equal to 1, reduces damage from foe's first attack during combat by 30%. So as long as you out-res the foe at all, you should be able to get a 30% damage reduction from that first combat. And if it's greater than 7, or equal to 7, foe cannot make a follow-up attack. So she also gets an impact sort of effect in there. So overall, this is a pretty decent refine. I think she can make an effective far save unit, actually. The downside is I don't think she can run Hardy Fighter, which is basically a must nowadays for far saves in Summoners duels. So I'm not entirely sure where she will find her place in. Don't get me wrong though, this is still a very good refine. Like, this is essentially a +12 stat swing for all stats on her. Of course, the foe cannot make a follow-up attack is really good. The damage reduction is really good. It's just that as a dagger unit, you really can't run Hardy Fighter, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong about that, but I don't think you can. I think it's only for like melee weapons. But still, like, you can. This is still a pretty good refine, and at least as an armor, she can make use of this enemy phase-oriented refine very well, and can definitely be run in something like Ether Raids, defense, or offense, for example. And yeah, on to the next refine. Last but certainly not least, we have Ranulf. So Ranulf's base effect is now grants defense +3 if units initiate combat or is within 3 spaces of an ally, grants all stats +4 to unit during combat, grants attack defense +4 to allies within 3 spaces during combat, and then the beast effect. And so originally Ranulf had just giving the attack defense +3 to unit and allies. So sort of like a joint drive attack and defense, sort of. And that was basically all he had in his weapon. So obviously, getting all stats +4, as long as he's within 3 spaces of an ally, and only granting attack defense +4 to allies within 3 spaces of combat, that's obviously just a +1 differential in terms of support. But at least he gets all stats for himself, at the very least. His refine effect is, at the start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 25%, grants all stats +4 to unit during combat, neutralizes effect that prevents units follow-up attacks, and deals damage equals to number of allies within 3 spaces times 5, max 15. So, if you can meet all of his conditions, he effectively grants himself like all stats +8 and 15 true damage. I personally would have liked a more supportive weapon, since originally his weapon was orientated towards that more supportive role. I don't think like just granting all of these stats will really make him like find a place in either Ether Raids, offense, defense, or Summoners duels. The true damage will definitely really help, and yeah, I just don't. Unfortunately, I don't really see him having much of a place in any mode. Although I think you can definitely use him, maybe in offense, to take advantage of his range while also providing some support. Like, he gets the impact effect as a beast cav, so that is pretty cool. And like, he gets the half NFU that will allow him to double if he outspeeds. And of course, the +8 to all stats does help, but I don't think it's enough, unfortunately. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think he's enough. So, but I think he's still good. And honestly, overall, I think all of these refines, at the very least, are solid. Personally, I think the winners are Naesala and Velouria. Naesala just turns into an absolute Gale Force monster with a special cooldown charge and the half of NFU, while Velouria still retains her role as the ultimate Galeforce support, not adding on top of the special cooldown count -2, the Dull All effect, which is just a cherry on top. So yeah, I think those two are the winners. Overall, everyone is pretty solid though, and I personally prefer Velouria over Naesala because I like these support units a lot more since I think they're more flexible. And like, honestly, Velouria, again, like, even without her refine, Velouria is still one of the best support units in the entire game. And how long has she been here? Like, she's a very old unit, and she's still so good, and this will just make her better. So yeah, those are the refines. Now let's go into the new units and their kits, because we finally got the trailer alongside this update. And so yeah, let's go with Florina first. Honestly, I'm not too big on the design of Florina. I think it's way too similar to her OG version, and like, I don't know, I think like we need more Ascended heroes like Joshua and Ascended Idun, and not Ishtar or Merida or Florina. Yeah, I think IS is just getting really lazy with these designs. But anyways, we're not here for that. We're here for New Heights Bow, which is Accelerate Special Trigger, cooldown count -1, effective against flying foes. If unit's HP is less than or equal to 60%, allies can move to a space adjacent to a unit. So this is effectively allows her to act as a Wings of Mercy beacon without requiring her allies to have Wings of Mercy. As long as you can get her below 60% health, that means literally anyone can warp to her without Wings of Mercy. I'm not entirely sure how useful this will be, because unlike, say, Linja or Ninjorin, she can't exactly get an extra action. So this might be more similar to something like Air Force. Obviously, like, not having to run Wings of Mercy is an advantage, but I don't think it's as good as an advantage when it comes to a Galeforce team compared to having an extra action. Like, Wings of Mercy, like, generally doesn't really matter what you put in the B, at least with the units you have. But I mean, this is still going to be really good, this like reverse Wings of Mercy, I think, and is definitely pretty unique. The other part of the weapon description is allies within 2 spaces can move to a space within 2 spaces of a unit. So this is effectively like Ash effect. So I can definitely see this being used in something, say, like Summoner's Duels, where that extra mobility will definitely really help with providing offensive pressure. The downside is that she's not going to be as bulky as Ash, and as like a ranged flyer, she focus on attack and speed, she'll be very weak to a lot of the melee units, like Alm or Erica or Legendary Nana and things like that. Unlike Ash, who you can build more tankily and even run something like a Miracle build on her and still do super well. So yeah, a bit of an awkward in terms of where to use her, but overall I think this is still a pretty good weapon and definitely very unique. And obviously we haven't even finished that yet. If unit is within 3 spaces of an ally, grants attack speed +6 to unit during combat and deals damage equal to 15% of unit speed. This is just a little bit of cherry on top. Attack speed +6 obviously helps her offensive power, and true damage based on unit speed. Well, we saw that with Naesala, so that is always good. Like, true damage, uncapped true damage is always good. So yeah, Florina does have a very unique effect. I'll have to wait and see with her being actually used in something like Ether Raids to see whether or not she can be a very good initiator and Wings of Mercy beacon, quote unquote. But yeah, overall, I actually really like this. I think this is really cool. She also comes with SD Far Trace, which is apparently new. Apparently we didn't have SD Far Trace before, which is kind of weird, but okay. And yeah, we all know what Far Trace does. Next we have Sain, and Sain is really interesting. Enables Canto Rem +1 with Jolly Jade Lance. grants attack plus 3 if unit initiates combat or is within 2 space of an ally, grants attack speed plus 6 to unit during combat. This is alright. Obviously, having Kanto is always good, but it's not like Kanto 2, it's Kanto remaining, so it's not as good as, say, Brave Erica. Brave Erica's Kanto. But still, Kanto anything is always good. And this is the interesting part. If Rally Assist is used by unit, grants attack speed plus 6 to unit for 1 turn, and grants unit another action. So, basically, this allows Sain to rally, and then still have the action to attack. This is not really that useful in, say, Ether Raid's offense. I don't think this will see any use in Gale Force or Hit and Run strategies, but on defense, I can see this working out really well in like rally traps. You don't have to, after his rally, you don't have to like dance him up, which is really good because in Chaos, we are limited to 1 dancer, so not having to waste that dance on that is really good. And yeah, honestly, it's a very unique weapon and could definitely see some use in Ether Raid's defense. The one caveat, though, is that he does have Kanto, which is a bad thing for Ether Raid's defense. The AI is absolutely terrible at using Kanto, so that is a downside. But I mean, at least it's Kanto Rem plus 1, so hopefully it's not too bad. But yeah, the Kanto will definitely make that awkward. And obviously we have Speed, Def, Catch 4, just filling out the roster of catch skills. And yeah, overall, again, I think Sain is actually pretty unique. He will probably have a role in Ether Raid's defense. How much he will impact Ether Raid's defense honestly remains to be seen, but I don't think he will be meta shifting really. But still usable in Ether Raid's defense. And yeah. The next unit we have is Kent, and Kent is a Sword Cavalry unit, the demote of the banner, and comes with Allied Sword Plus, grants attack defense plus 4 to allies within 2 spaces during combat, and if unit is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants attack defense plus 4 to unit. So this is like joint drive attack and defense, which I think is a pretty good support weapon. You can use it on, say, like Yanfei if he's not carrying anymore, and still provide a lot of stats and supports that way. But yeah, overall, not entirely groundbreaking by any means. This is a demote after all. And last but certainly not least, we have Letiza, who is a Green Mage Cavalry unit. Not a mythic apparently, just a normal unit, which really shocked me. She comes with Cormt, I think that's how it's pronounced, which grants her attack plus 3 at start of combat if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 25%, grants attack plus 6 to unit during combat, inflicts attack minus 6 on foe during combat, and unit makes a guaranteed follow-up attack, and inflicts penalty on foes stats during combat based on the number of the following conditions that apply times 3, max 9. And then these are the conditions: an allies within 3 spaces of a unit, another foes within 2 spaces of a target, which is honestly, that's basically guaranteed. So pretty much at minimum, you're probably getting minus 3 to all stats. Bonus is active on unit really synergizes well with the Rouse that she has, which just grants her the visible attack res plus 6. And penalty is active on unit, also synergizes with the catch skill as well. So overall, I mean, I don't think Letiza is groundbreaking by any means. She is very bulky though, which is definitely very important in something like Ether Raid's defense. But honestly, I don't think she is going to be meta impactful compared to like other units like Dual Leaf or like literally all the other ranged calves that we have. Obviously I still think she'll be a very strong unit. It's just that I don't think she's really anything special, honestly. Like, I think like she's basically like Ascended Legion, I think, except a green mage. And yeah, honestly, I was hoping that she would have some more unique effects, or at least be a mythic. But as a normal unit, I don't think she's all that special. Obviously, all these units are still good, I think the most unique one is Florina. Despite her non-unique design, her bow is definitely very interesting. Again, remains to be seen how practical it will actually be, and I'll definitely take a more in-depth look at it once we actually have that in the game, and I make my full analysis on this banner. But yeah, overall pretty cool. Also, we can't forget Guy, or G, apparently. I don't know. Guy will always be Guy for me. Guy comes with Vulture Blade Plus, which is basically the sword version of Plegian Axe. Has the Plegian effect as long as you're not adjacent to an ally. And yeah, obviously, Plegian Axe was a really popular weapon, mainly because Plegian Axe was free, and I predict that this Plegian sword will also be very popular as well. Not as much to say about Guy. He's you know, the straight demote, so yeah. Hard to be that as a Red Sword Infantry without perf. But now we have Naesala. They have more Thimble Vetter, which is grants attack +3 if unit is within if unit is within 3 spaces of an ally, inflicts attack res -8 on foe during combat, foe cannot make a follow-up attack, and grants bonus to units attacked during combat equal to total attack res bonus on ally, with the highest total attack res bonus within 3 spaces. If unit is within 3 spaces of an ally after combat, if unit attack deals 15 damage to nearest ally. So effectively, Naesala gets attack res -8, a potential +12 to the attack if there's like a +6 attack res ally within 3 spaces, and unfortunately they also give 15 damage to the nearest ally, which I don't really like. You can see if you can make it work, but Naesala is a infantry mage, right? So I don't think that will be very useful for I mean, I guess it could be useful for Galeforce strategies, just getting them damaged to below 50% HP to get into Links of Mercy range. But yeah, overall, like, I don't think they really have a place in the meta right now. Don't get me wrong, Naesala is a pretty good unit as a Grail unit, but yeah, like, I don't think they are really that groundbreaking or special either, which is a shame. But, I mean, I think that's the trend these days with our Grail units. So I guess IS, this is normal for IS. Anyways, now onto the spicy portion. We have the rules for AR Chaos Season. Thank you to this, the Persistence for posting this on Reddit. So the first thing to note is that all heroes released in a select version update of the game will be available as additional bonus heroes. This is what they mentioned in the FEH channel. What's interesting here is that only normal bonus mythic heroes will lower lift loss on failed defenses. So we still have the defense mechanic of having a bonus mythic hero reducing your lift. This is something in the Vault of Heavens that is currently in, so I guess that technically makes sense. Apparently this is the only difference. But yeah, I think based on this wording, it means that you only need one bonus unit to get like the bonus score. So unlike what I mentioned in my reaction, it does not appear that we can like have a team of all bonus units and just score even more. It appears that, if I'm reading this correctly, just one unit will suffice, which I guess is fine. Like, I would have loved the chaos to see if like you're only allowed to use like Gen 1 units, but I guess this is better. And yeah, the next rule is that all raiding parties get +70 lift gain, and those with a bonus ally who defeated one or more foe receive a bonus of +20. So this is the very interesting change that was not mentioned in the FEH channel. Bonus kills are a thing now, just like in Arena. And honestly, I sort of like this change. Like, it forces you to be a lot more strategic about how you engage or how you tank. And I don't think this will be that difficult because you do have a wide variety of bonus units now, thanks to that release version, which now sort of makes sense why they did that. And yeah, this doesn't really matter for Gale Force because you generally want to trap a unit to get the pots anyways, so you could just kill the trapped units with your bonus units. And for tanking, again, you always want to get the pots, so I mean, it's obviously harder for tanking to get that bonus kill, but I don't think it's going to be that difficult with a bit of strategic execution. Yeah, I actually really like this change, and I actually really want to see how this shapes the meta. And furthermore, this is continuing the death of save ball tanking, which I'm always a fan of. Next is the disabled effects in Chaos Season. These seasonal, legendary, and mythic effects will be disabled. Effects that boost ally stats, effects that change lift gain or lift loss via blessings or merges, and the special slots. So this is huge. I questioned whether or not the quote-unquote effects mentioned in the FEH channel meant scoring, and not just the stat gains. But apparently it does affect scoring, which I actually really like because this makes it a lot more free-to-play friendly. One of the biggest problems with Aether Race right now is the fact that AR offense is not really that challenging and essentially free. So like that reduces the impact skill has on your ranking, and thus the only thing that really matters for ranking is the mythic merges that you have. Well, here, mythic merges do not matter at all, and obviously with the bonus kill and the whole restrictions that were mentioned in the FEH channel, I think this will force a lot more skill-based play, and hopefully a more F2P friendly ranking system. Again, it remains to be seen how this works in practice, but overall I'm pretty optimistic. And also special slots are disabled too, so no more dancer traps, I guess. Dancer traps weren't really that good anyways these days, so I don't think that will really change anything. The last thing is the team creation, and basically these are the SD rules as mentioned in the FEH channel. Duplicate heroes are not allowed, so sorry Fedicid, you can't run your quadruple peony team. You can only include one dancer, Brave Mary and Stonks are rising, and you can only include one ally that uses Savior. So save balls are over, party, let's go. And yeah, that should be the update. Obviously a super huge update. We covered so many things. So yeah, from these refines to the units to the new rules, there's a lot of changes. And honestly, I'm always down for change. I'm always down for meta shifts. I think meta shifts are very healthy for the game overall because they force variety and prevent stagnation. I wouldn't have done it in this way by literally creating a separate ladder with special rules, but I'm still excited for it and super excited to make content for it whenever Chaos Season comes around. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and if you haven't already, be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that jazz to help support the channel. Once again, we're so close to 1,000 subscribers. It would be really cool if we can meet that. Only takes 5 seconds to subscribe, but it truly does help out this channel a lot. I really do appreciate all the constant support. Let me know down in the comments what your favorite update this time is. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and see you all next time.